Welcome on to Winds of Change, fellow Dazzlers and New Players alike. What is going on, everybody? Hey, Rezo Joestar here, bringing you Act 4, Winds of Change. For those of you who came in late, a lot happened. The rebellion was attacked by Sovy, and the honor guard that Sovy took control of that was meandering about the rebellion place. Damek was killed by Shane and then brought back to life by this creature that we came to call Howl, who's inhabiting the body of Salus, the rebellion's, original founder and leader that was killed getting the Blade of Exodus, and now it's this construct with all these spirits of the previous monarchy that lived on the planet before the triumvirate came and took over and enslaved the souls of this monarchy. And so that the monarchy had been trying to corrupt the Alestians away from the triumvirate's purity. See what I did there? And this is pretty much their final push. The spirits that were up in Valinor decided to just put everything they had into the current seer. So the spirits are indeed making a push, as mysterious hooded man triumvirate said once. So there's also a lot more that happened, but that's the general. Oh, also Sovy found out what the triumvirate told him. He didn't believe about the spirit idol, about the spirit realm, but as Howl mentions, there was no spirit realm. It was just spirits that were trapped in these different things, the Blade of Exodus, the spirit idols. Everything we knew about the spirits in the spirit realm was wrong. So Sovy ends up fleeing from the battle and takes Shane and Halin with him, who were already starting to lose the battle because Pro was able to run off and get the pirates that we aligned with. Alex, if you need a reminder, to help us out. After that, we've decided that, well, we're gonna saddle up and head on over to Thea because they're having a royal ball, and we may be able to get either Dracu or Vivian, two very, very powerful, potentially powerful political allies, to join us. So we are at the docks of Museo, and we are about to take off on the high seas of adventure to Thea, the desert region. I mean, again, there's a lot more in many details, but if I sit here and tell you everything that happened and was said, we're going to be here all day. So there's my hour and a half or so long Act 3 video if you want to skim through that. Let's get started. Yeah, here we are. This should be... Oh wait, no, this is not right. Here we go. I was like, wait a minute. Alright, we are back. Feels good to be back doing Winds of Change nonsense.
What are these?
Traps.
Traps for what?
Seafood.
Oh, we don't have that back in Valinor. How do these things work exactly?
Well, these ones are mainly for lobster. It traps them inside and they're emptied out every day. Once a week, they're sold off in the market square for food.
So you capture them only to eat them?
Yeah?
I don't know how I feel about that. They're just minding their own business down there. Why should we snatch them up and kill them just like that?
Because they taste good.
I have never seen that. I think that literally was the first time I clicked on that. Like, as a purveyor of earthly furry fiction, myself, Nico, Tamagi, and the manager included, one of the things we always wonder is, like, how does meat work in these worlds? Like, some places like Redwall, Bride Jock's Redwall series, they do this thing where they seafood is, like, not the same as the rest of the creatures, and so those are, eaten. Like, otters will eat shrimp. The mice at Redwall seem to farm pike fish, and they'll kill them and eat them. And then you get, like, other stories, like, the manager's stories just tend to be, like, they're half human, half animal creatures living in an alien world, so they're omnivores, but they just vegetarian. That's what they do, they're vegetarians. Or something along those lines. Then you get Kyle Gold novels where you have this Muslim character going, oh, I don't care if people eat bacon because it's halal or whatever the proper terms are. A little bit ignorant when it comes to that kind of stuff, admittedly, but I just found it funny because it's like, oh, this guy's eating bacon. Where's the bacon coming from? Like, it's just one of the questions I wonder when I think too much. So, anyways, let's that also that tells you that everything up to here, well, everything from Act 1 to Act 3 is fully voiced as of this video. I don't know if anything in Act 4 has gotten voices yet, but yeah, that's enough yammering, and let's just get going. See, that's what I like about this game. You just randomly click on something in the background, and all of a sudden, you're talking about lobsters and the ethics of eating things that taste good. I make my way to the ship as Dominic instructed. Everyone is already gathering around. Am I late? Before long, I'm spotted by a few of my friends. Hey there, Russell Joestar. Glad to see you made it on time. They're just about ready to leave Museo. I'm so excited to see what Alarinthia is like. I mean, except for the heat, of course. Yikes. But I guess there'll be plenty of time to adapt. Yeah, I don't think our visit there will be a short one. Kind of a tall order, forming an alliance with Alarinthia. They take their independence seriously, even more than Valenorth. I think that Vivian will be our best shot, but I trust you and Dominic to get this done. You're a dream team, so this has to go well. Upon hearing his name, Dominic's ears perk up. He turns around and runs to face me, excited. I'm impressed at how fast he organized all of this. Razzle! Perfect timing as always. I was just telling my friends about you. Here, let me introduce you to some of them. He starts walking away, leading me to some nearby rebels. I've never seen them before, but they're lucky to be alive. The previous attack almost took everybody from us. As your advisor, I have a few close friends. They'll provide me with counsel when you're busy. We both know that's going to be quite often, Seer. This much was true. Everybody, I'd like to introduce you to the Monarch. Oh yeah, that's right, they call me Monarch now. Yeah, I forgot to mention, Howl crowned me King of Valenorth. Crowned me King of Alestia, so I'm the Monarch now. I still don't know how I feel about that. Treat him as you treated me. He's your new leader now. Oh yeah, also promoted to leader of the rebellion. And after this war, he'll be the new ruler of Alestia. And Anakin is playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Yeah, it's about to be a global offensive. That was overwhelming to think about. I guess I'll have to take things as they come, one step at a time. Dominic's friends take turns stepping forward, seemingly nervous. I've heard a lot about you, Monarch. Until you arrived, you're all Dominic could talk about. You have my allegiance. My sword is yours to command. Placeholder artwork. And mine too. Trust me, Razzle, you've got this. After this is done, Alestia will belong to us, and if I'm honest, it's about damn time. Yeah, the triumvirate ruled over us for too long. A change is overdue. It'll keep things nice and interesting. Please, Monarch, come to me if you need any assistance at all. As if they rehearsed this, they all stepped back in unison. It was nice to see that Damek had the support of his rebels. They don't seem to hold him accountable like Howl did. Well, guess that's everything I needed to do. The food and supplies have all been taken aboard. Alex took care of it overnight. I guess he couldn't sleep. I don't blame him. Should we continue the rest on the ship? There's still a few people you need to meet. After that, we're in for a long, boring trip. I nod and start to follow him aboard. Everybody else follows suit until we're all loaded up. This will be my first time at sea. I hope my body takes it well. I like how it just fades out. It's the same picture. The boat is rather large and can easily fit all of us. Wasting no time, as soon as we're on, they prepare to set sail. Pirates run about the ship, making last-minute preparations. I even see Milas aboard. That slightly surprises me. However, I forgot the rebels showed up. Like, Milas and everybody from Valenorth showed up. I kind of missed it the first time around. I was like, what happened to Milas and co? For able to say anything, the pirates take charge. Their leader steps in the middle of the deck and shouts orders. Come on, everybody, let's do this. They'll write about this voyage in the history books. Let's give them something memorable to read about. His crew nod and exchange witty banter as they prepare. It seems like life as a pirate could actually be pretty fun. I feel glad that we chose to support him. He seems nice. I walk to the center of the ship and slowly inspect my surroundings. It's a bit packed, but that's because nobody went to the crew quarters yet. I could tell from the outside that this place has more than enough space. As soon as Damek sees me, he runs towards me. He's already here. I think the game may have glitched. A few people follow behind him. More introductions? I guess it's fair. I hadn't met many of the rebels yet. Ah, Reza, we're almost ready to set sail. Here's the people I want to introduce you to. It's important for morale that you get along with our forces. However, these aren't just any rebels. These are the Monarch vessels you created. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Monarch vessels. See, there's so much that happened. So one of the choices I had, for those of you who came in late, was Howl's all like, hey yo, you should probably take your power and disperse it either amongst volunteers from the rebellion or some of the dead bodies. But there's a trade-off. You give it to people in the rebellion, and after they use their power up, they're basically be literally vegetables. They wouldn't be able to talk or see, or they go catatonic. Catatonic is the word I'm looking for. Although maybe we could find a way to reverse that. And then you have, well, we could give some of the power to some of the rebels that died in the recent attack and create Monarch vessels. So they'd be back, they'd be ready to go. The only trade-off is they'd be continuously feeling whatever pain was what did them in. But hopefully we could find medicine that could ease their wounds. So it's kind of just like, oh, lovely. Do I bring back the dead and make them suffer for eternity? Or do I give people power and potentially make them suffer for eternity, or at least until they die. When's it change for you, everybody? Inside a chaos of gray, indeed. Anyways. These are the Monarch vessels that you created back at HQ. They've embraced their new situation and want to meet you. So I'll leave you to that. Come find me later if you want to chat. Something tells me there won't be much else to do. Oh well. Worst case scenario, we can get Pro to bring out his cards. I don't think you want to play cards with Pro. With a smile, he runs off to attend to other business. Even though he stepped down, he was still a busy man. I wonder if that's the same fate that awaited me. Probably. I turn to meet these new people, ready to make friends. Oh. More placeholders. We were told that you were the one who gave us light. Thank you for this chance, Seer. We will not... Monarch. I'm so used to saying Seer, I gotta use a Monarch now. We will not waste it. This form requires some adjusting, but we will be fine. The pain may be intense, but fuels our every move. We will use it to kill the Triumvirate by your command. That is the wish of every member of the Monarchy. We Huskers. I'll take, obviously somebody's persona for 500, Alex. We trust... I mean, that's not a bad thing, but... We trust your judgment until the end of Alestia. After this war, we declare our lives to serving you. This second chance you've given us, we will cherish it. I nod, dismissing them. It's good to see that things went well. Honestly, creating Monarch vessels could have gone horribly wrong and fast. To know that I used the blade effectively gave me great pleasure. I continue to walk along the ship, taking in everything I see. After a few steps, I notice Ulrich and Pro are lost in conversation. Stop whining, Pro. The trip will be over before you know it. I have my complaints too, but there's nothing I can do. You're not scared of the sea, Ulrich. This is gonna be like torture, I know it. You know where I can find some buckets? Getting queasy already? You haven't even set sail. Oh man, you're making it worse. Pro gets seasick, it seems like. More of my comrades are talking amongst themselves. That's good. We had a long and likely boring voyage ahead. But that's not Salus, right? He's been dead for a while. Oh man, I'm worried for Milos. I was so confused when I first saw him, but Damek promised the truth, so I didn't overreact. It's weird to see him alive, but I know it's not really him. Are you even listening to yourself right now? I can't believe we say these things and mean them. Like, what's gonna happen with no more spirit realm? Yeah, sometimes you say things aloud and you're just like, what? It's like, I tell people, oh yeah, there's this anime I watch, and this Italian guy wants to join the mafia so he can take control of the Italian mafia and rid the streets of drugs. By the way, this guy has a spiritual power where this like golden thing comes out of him. It's like this humanoid thing, and if it punches you, your consciousness accelerates to the pact where you pretty much actually project and perceive anything in your body. And see, I'm already not making sense. What's not gonna happen? What's gonna happen with No More Spirit Realm? Who knows? Everything I knew was wrong. At the end of the day, maybe Valinor will be fine. I don't see how some prison could have kept it warm. You're right, and that's amazing. Let's push all this weirdness aside and agree on that. We'll ask Howl, for sure when we get the chance. Of course. It seems that they're still digesting these events. I can't blame them. Everything is pretty crazy right now. Thankfully, we have plenty of time to continue digesting. Ollar was almost a day away. At least we get to sleep. But until then, I better make use of this time to talk to my friends. A lot had happened the last day. I should check up on them. The ship shakes slightly and I lose my balance for a moment. I guess we're setting sail. I've never actually been at sail before. Pirates run amok as if getting to their designated workstations. Alright everybody, here we go. We want a smooth voyage, so don't forget your schedules. Those of you that take the graveyard shift, I'll make it up to you. Please observe that your captain has turned on the no smoking sign and fastened seatbelt signs. Please make sure your trays are in their upright lock position and your seatbelts are fastened. We may be in for some bumpy sailing. He climbs the rope, netting up the side of the ship and looks up at the horizon. With a smile on his face, he points towards the vast body of water before us. To seas we go! And his crew repeats this as if a mantra before he sets sail. I guess this was it. We're on our way to a secure and Allarinthian alliance. Clicking the arrow in the top right will continue the story and the voyage to Allarithia. It's highly recommended you complete the series of onboard heart-to-hearts. After this portion of the game, you will not get another chance to do them. Well then. Huh. That's weird. Nico was telling me that they were arranged differently, but I like it like that though. Each person's in their crew quarters. Nice. Alright, well we got ourselves a party banter here, so let me see if I can do Milos. You are not my father. Do you say this to inform us or to console yourself? This question was self-explanatory. It's just, I should be mad at you, furious. You defile the memory and likeness of my father. Do we? It seems that Salus was an honorable man. Are we not carrying out his final wishes? What? The freedom of Alestia, the destruction of the Triumvirate. When you look at it that way, it seems as if we defile nothing. I don't know. What are you wishing to know? I want to know how I should feel right now. This is so bizarre. What a bizarre adventure. I have no idea what to do. Back in Velenorth, things were simple and easy. Why must you do anything? You could mull over this development for years, you know. At the end of the day, you should do something more useful. Like what? This is not for us to decide. But have no worries. We will take care of this body. And using it, we will do everything we can to honor your father. Thank you. I'll let you know if I think of anything. This may take a while for me to understand. Very well, but please remember this. Lack of understanding is not a fault. In fact, it can be a strength. You flourished, even though you did not know the truth of the spirits. You're right. I think I need some time alone. Be down in the crew quarters, Howl. Well, that answers that question. Yeah, it's kind of like, wait, how do we handle... Oh, how would Milas handle his father parading around? Or Salus parading around, whatever. Let's just see what Pro's up to. I mean, Damek sits in bed. Oh, they're playing the sad music. Damek sits in a bed, staring down at the pendant I saw him hold back at HQ. He had faced death and come out the other side. That would change any man. What happened while he was gone? That's a question that's been on my mind. I approach cautiously, careful not to startle him out of his reverie. When I get close to him, he looks up at me, making no effort to hide his tears. He finally had time to process everything that happened back in those tunnels. I was such a fool, Razzle. Shane tricked me. I was careless. I should have never let him get close to me. He knew my weakness and exploited it. It made me happy to see him again, and here I thought I was finally ready. Weakness? What does he mean? Will you have a seat with me, Monarch? I guess I should tell you the truth of what happened. From the sidelines, I must have looked incompetent. I mean, I'm trained in combat, you know. I should have been able to avoid Shane's dagger with ease. That's what they were all thinking, even if they won't say anything. With my interest piqued, I sit down beside Dominic. He puts the pendant into one of his pockets and turns to face me. I could tell his crying spells over. He was more calm and collected. Back during the occupation, my parents were killed. I saw them murder my father with no hesitation, blood everywhere. After that, my mother took my hand and tried to find us some shelter. We didn't make it very far. We saw all the bodies in the town square, mountains of them. The ground was full of blood, almost like an ocean. If you look closely, you can see some of the stains still, even today. My mother made a judgment call and did something risky. What's the one place they'd never look for survivors? That's right. Amongst the corpses, covered and crushed by them. I was crying, but she helped me get underneath a bunch of bodies. She played dead and lay on the outside, holding my hand as tight as she could. I remember how she kept telling me that everything would be okay. That soft whisper. Wow. She didn't make it very long. They found her and stabbed her over and over. I felt her wince every time. The grip on my hand got tighter and tighter. Then, after a while, it just let go. I got to feel her final moments. Wow, that's I don't know how to feel about that. That's... Welcome back to Fields of Change, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you bought your tissues. The voice telling me that everything would be okay soon went silent. I was left there underneath a pile of bodies covered in blood. The last embrace I remember, the last time I held a hand. It's not something I could ever do again, it reminds me of that day. Now you understand how Shane made me feel, how Shane made me freeze in fear and surprise. He was the only person I told this to. He used that to trick me. And that explains why he appears to be socially awkward with handshakes. He's just not comfortable with it because it triggers uncomfortable memories. And he would have killed me too if it wasn't for you and Howl. I was finally ready to get close to somebody again, and then this happens. That's how I knew Shane wasn't just acting. He played dirty and wanted me dead. There was so much running through my mind the moment he stabbed me. I thought perhaps he was trying to win over the Triumvirate so he could get more intel. But then he stabbed me again and again. I knew the man that I once knew was gone. They did something to him while he was imprisoned. They won him over. I don't know how they did it, but they turned him into a completely different person. Must never let another one of our allies fall under their thrall. Ever. I nod, agreeing with Damek, but that was a horrible story. Went through that as a child? His aversion to physical contact makes perfect sense now, and Shane is an awful person having taken advantage of that. Startling Dominic, making him relive those memories and killing him. That's despicable. Sorry for dropping all that on you, Razzle. I just needed to tell somebody. It was eating away at me, and I trust you. I know you'd never do anything like Shane did. It goes without saying. However, the room soon falls to silence. Dominic fidgets awkwardly, clearly nervous. Well, I guess that's enough to kill any conversation. Like I said, I'm sorry for dropping all that on you. Anything else you need to say to me while you can? See, I like here we go. Here's another flirty this is like the flirt option, like the romance option. But I like this because it's like, you know, it's not ooh, it's more like aww. Like when you get the like it reminds me of in episode 3 of the series, back when Fortum tells you about his nightmare and the flirt option is to hug and console him. I'm just like, maybe it should have been like, well, then again, anyways. I don't know. I don't know about doing the hand thing, because he just said that it was uncomfortable. I mean, somebody picked that option. It wasn't me. But I think I'll do this. Not everybody will hurt you. Not everybody will hurt you, Damek. Opening up it's a good thing. It's easy to say that, but hard to actually try, especially when you've had a track record like I have. I want to, but there's something just stopping me, you know? It's nothing against you or anyone else I consider a friend. I just have to put up this barrier for my own benefit. I don't want to hurt anybody either, actually. This is war. I almost died back in the rebel headquarters, and if I did, can you imagine the pain my allies would feel? Getting close to someone like this at a time like this would be a disaster. He smiles and gets out of the bed. I do so as well. I could tell he was ready to end the conversation. Well, shall we call it then? I think this was a good time as any. Let that new information process for a while. When it comes to my past, that's about it. From now on, we can look to the future. I just hope it's as bright as I picture it. With that, he walks away from me and back up the deck. I was glad he liked me enough to tell me about his past. It was my duty to never take advantage of that like Shane did. I think a lot of us want to knock Shane around for what he did. That was terrible. Anyways, let's see what Howl is up to. Howl stares off in the ocean, deep in contemplation. There they go with the sad music again. I imagine he'd have a lot to talk about and a lot to process. Last time we talked, he seemed conflicted about whether or not he fit in. Monarch. He turns to face me. He gives me a small wave, welcoming me. Howl waving? I stand beside him and we stare off in the ocean together. Between the sky and the sea, blue as can be. Search for your crimson, it will be your... If by any chance... I just find it funny, because the manager has been posting references to Fighting Gold, the opening song for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, because both Japanese and English versions fit really well with Winds of Change, and so that was lyrics from the English version. I was just kind of like, oh, we're at sea. I like that line. Anyways, the sun causes it to glisten, sparkling with her genuine beauty, gentle beauty. We are still conflicted. These thoughts will not go away. Visions of needless violence and senseless destruction. You may tell us they are real, but we are unsure. The emotions that well up within us are far too real. Is it possible for fake events to elicit real emotions? Well, I mean, considering that I almost busted tears down there with Damek, yes, it's very possible. Or are we perhaps hearing echoes of the past? Echoes of the past? What does he mean? Let us phrase it differently. You know visions, yes. The Monarchy used them to guide us to the best possible future. How can you know that best possible future without trial and error? There would still be many futures left unseen and many paths avoided. Knowing one true course of action requires disregarding millions of wrong ones. What if we are simply seeing these many avenues? Like our visions have evolved. If not evolved, then perhaps muddled. Rather than see the one important future, we see everything. We do not know if this is a good or bad thing, Razzle. Kind of makes sense when you think about it. Seeing the best possible future was like seeing one side of a coin, the other still exists, and is left covered up and unseen. Many wrong futures, many wrong choices made. The mind likely blocked these out for a reason. Maybe he's sensitive after escaping his prison. If this is true, we exist unbound from time. A string in a labyrinth, with no one holding the other side, no one to tug, and no one to guide us in the right direction. No one, of course, except for you. Our visions may be useless at the moment, but are yours? We would recommend that you try inducing a vision razzle. Not right now, of course, but in your own time. However, when you do so, we would request a favor. If you see the future, embrace it, but also look into the past. The future you see blossoms from choice and consequence. Look back at those choices made, and conjure up the choices unmade. The loss, the heartbreak, the death. Maybe. Then you will know what pains us. He is plagued with bad visions. He no longer sees the one true future. He sees everything, and that is a curse I would wish upon nobody. I can't even imagine how many times he's seen us all die, and for what. There's only one thing that remains constant throughout these visions. Yourself, the blade of Exodus, and the death it feeds off of. There's something self-serving about all three of these things. You always have that blade, and the people around you always die. When they do, it's almost like it makes the blade more powerful, like there's an essence released from our bodies when we pass on. But is this the essence of life, or the essence of death? Perhaps that is a choice the wielder of the blade must make. What do you think, Monarch? Is that energy life, or death? When we die, I think our spirit is released. That's our life. An interesting thought, to say the least. If it's up to the wielder, at least we know where you stand. That blade is such a mysterious thing, and it grows ever stronger. It's almost cryptic telling me what I already know. I know the blade deals with the spirits of its victims. The Triumvirate used it to create their own massive army. Even if it kept a portion of every soul, it would get stronger with every kill. That combined with the power of the Monarchy inside, immense power, unlimited power. Now I just need to become the Senate. I already am the Monarchy, so a bit ironic if a portion of everybody the Triumvirate killed was used to end them. We wonder if you possess this ability as well, to see the past, even while you stand in the present. Is this a curse meant only for us, or a gift to be future-honed? It eludes our understanding, and we wish to know for sure. When we come back to the mainland, please return to Valanor. Close your eyes, concentrate on the past, and talk to your comrades. Do they speak as they do now, or as they did back then? We think that this answer will be very enlightening for us, and if it is, maybe you can understand our plight. How do we know where we are if the surroundings fluctuate? What if we already had this conversation, and this is but an echo? Perhaps we decide at the end of time, simply witnessing our demise. Alright, now he's lost me. Sorry, he must appear insane. It's just hard, not being grounded in the present. The one downside of visions is being lost in time. Dreaming of that brighter future and ignoring the present, looking back on the past and focusing on our mistakes, we experience this tenfold, even mistakes we did not make. When we see your death, we feel pain. A pain worse than death, a loss of hope. That blade falls to the ground coated in your blood. Comrades scream in agony as they befall the same fate. And why do we stand there, only capable of watching? We should help you avoid this fate. That is our duty. We apologize for lack of sense, Monarch. Your time is more valuable than that, limited as it is. Perhaps next time we will make more sense of everything. But try not to forget our advice and our request. We know that there is a purpose for all of this. There must be. Together, we will find it, rather than stand here and complain. I nodded before leaving him behind. He was suffering, I could tell. I had enough trouble dealing with visions of the future. I almost feel tortured. If there's anything I can do to help him out, I'd have to do it when I had the chance. It's possible his body just doesn't know how to handle that energy. I was trained at a young age to handle it, so I had to grasp on what I should be doing. It's possible that, unless I'm trained, someone's mind can be lost in the sea of time? Perhaps I suppose. That's a topic for another day. I turned the deck of the we're below deck? Oh no, we're just in a different part, okay. On my watch, they would never meet the grisly fate that Howl witnessed. For a moment, I decided to stare into the sea, watching the waves and ripples. I could have looked ahead to the future, towards our final destination. But for a moment, I considered looking away from the past we've set in stone. The sea continues to move, living a life of its own despite our interference. Maybe that's why mines are destroyed if the normal people are given, the living people are given that, because it's just too much. I think Howl does mention that. It's too much for the mind to handle, essentially. It just mind screws you, basically, into going catatonic. Alright, let's see what Homeboy is up to. Alright, finally, we don't get the sad piano music. Fulton paces around the deck of the ship, deep in thought. Everything changed over the last few days, so this was insane. I hope he's handling it well. Better go see how he's doing. Hey there, Razzle. There's something that's been driving me insane. You know how we were all freaking out about Valinor? With the heat from the spirits, it'd freeze over and die. I mean, we believed it, but right now, that doesn't make any sense. The spirit realm was a prison, right? Nothing mystical or beneficial. It matches up with what people outside of Valinor were saying. We're just superstitious and lived in a unique location. The Monarchy gave us visions and nothing more. We have to ask Howl the moment we get the chance. If it's like I think it is, then Valinor will be fine. No risk at all. As hard as these truths are to believe, they do have their benefits. And talking to me, he stopped his pacing and looks happy. It's true that a lot of beliefs are shattered, but that's not a bad thing. A new understanding of the world gave us a new angle to tackle our problems from. At least, that'll make my leadership of Valinor a lot easier. That's one major problem I had to take care of. Completely eliminate it. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's almost like one last gift from the spirits. Let's just hope we get lucky like that in Thea. Securing an alliance with the barbarians sounds super difficult. They're stubborn in their tradition, just like Valinor is known to be. But their tradition wasn't steeped in the spirits like ours was. At the end of the day, will they even care about any of this? They almost live a world away untouched by our problems. No point in worrying about things out of our control, right? Maybe we should talk about something we do have power over. Remember that climbing gear Pro gave me money for? Well, check it out. He wanders over to a bag on the deck and reaches inside. A few moments later, he produces some clawed metallic objects. It appears that there's one pair for your feet and one for your hands. They're adjustable, so you can wear them no matter what. You don't need to look for a foothold anymore, you just make them yourself. As long as you're strong enough, there's nothing you can't climb, Monarch. I know what I'm doing as soon as we get back. I'm heading to Valinor and climbing the Grand Tree. I want you to join me. It'll be a good place for you to learn. I know what you're thinking, though. Why don't I know to climb on something so difficult? Well, you have gear now. I never did. It's a huge advantage. The only thing holding you back will be your energy. With everything we've been through, that should be simple. I think it'll only take a few hours to climb, if I'm totally honest. I'll bring a backpack with a bunch of water, or maybe we should split that over 2 backpacks. Don't want to make one of us carry too much weight. He puts the climbing gear back in the bag, clearly excited. It's like a breath of fresh air that you hear him talk about this stuff so passionately. Everyone else is so concerned about the war. It's nice to just push that aside. Besides, it's a pretty unique date destination, isn't it? Not many people can say they've been to the top of the Grand Tree. It's something special, you know, to match how special you are to me. Aww. I'm just gonna get like I'm just gonna put in like little things on the top of the screen. Just like say all like there's a live studio audience, so you all know I'm gonna go, oh. I don't think I've seen the 6 I'm gonna do that. Now I'm gonna get like a laugh track and an applause track, and I'm just gonna make like another meme video, and it's like, Damek appears on screen and says something, and then you hear like the cheering and clapping. I don't think I've seen them this excited in a long time. For a moment, it feels like all my worries have simply washed away. They've slipped into the ocean, becoming nothing more than gentle ripples. Fortum Sucker walked around the ship again and stretched his body. It's almost like he was preparing for a marathon of a lifetime. Of course, this has been a long dream of his after all. I know there's so much danger in our future, but happiness too, you know? Oh, darn it. Besides, I doubt the key to our element. Let me try this again. Besides, I doubt I'll be the key to our Alorinthian alliance. So in the meantime, there's really not anything else I can do. I've been practicing my climbing on the netting of the ship. People are worried that I'll fall off, but I still not to worry. It's very rare that I fall off, and usually shake it off pretty quickly. I saw some of them get together and make some betting pools. It's a pretty boring voyage, so they gotta make their own entertainment. I suddenly start to know why pirates enjoy fighting and gambling so much. When you're out to the sea, there's just nothing much to do. It's pretty crazy. I'd go insane if I were a pirate. I just know it. After this war, I think I want to settle down on the mainland. Selling isn't for me. I say that with absolute certainty. I'm not sure this life is for me either. It's just different. Valinor was a completely different atmosphere than any of this. Even Mazeo was a bit of a culture shock to me and my friends. I can't even imagine what Alorenthia and Balteus will be like. I look off to the horizon. It must still be pretty far away. There's no sight of land ahead. How much farther to go? Sorry for rambling on, but yeah, there's nothing else to do. I bet those other people will be able to keep your interest longer. But before you go, I just have one question to ask of you. He stops stretching and walks right up to me with a sly smirk. Do we make it to the top, or do we fail? What's your bet, Razzle Joester? And no refusing. We're on a pirate ship, so we need to act like pirates. Unlike the way he thinks. I saw we make it all the way to the top and make history. Optimism, I love it. The other pirates didn't share that trait. They seem to actually look forward to failure, though I guess that would be fun to watch. Can you imagine if I fell off the netting into the sea? They'd probably stand by and laugh rather than help. Oh, I know. A kiss. Loser has to kiss the winner, and yes, I totally rigged it. This way, I win no matter what. You cheeky bastard. With a smirk and a wink, he quickly runs off on his way. Full of energy, it seems, or perhaps he's getting stir-crazy. I don't blame him. Being stuck at sea with nothing else to do. I guess our goal was clear. We'd climb the Grand Tree. That is, if we even made it back to Alarinthia in one piece. His ability to focus on the positive self-threatened war is admirable. Admirable, if not a bit of naive. Hopefully I can join in his positivity. This blade on my back, both literally and figuratively, weighs me down. I might leave it on the surface when we climb. Yeah, that'd make things easier. A lot easier. Fortum's loyalty scene is now available when you return to the mainland. The game will notify you when you have access to the loyalty scene system. Loyalty scenes can be initiated by clicking that character at the war table. Yeah, okay. Well, Fortum fanboys, it looks like we may not get our alone time with him like you can with Ulrich. But that's okay. I don't really care. It's cool just being able to be romantic. Far too many people focus on the physical aspects of that kind of thing. Anyways, speaking of Ulrich, let's see what Homeboy... Oh no, I forgot what the names I came up with were. Yeah, I remember doing that. Yeah, like... No, was Fortum Homeboy? I'll have to come up with new ones and remember them this time. Make my way down to the ship cabin and see Ulrich sitting on a bed. At least whatever poses for a bed among a somewhat cramped ship. He's sharpening his sword, clearly exerting himself as he does so. Hey there, Seer. Monarch, Razzle, whatever the hell they call you this day and age. As you can see, I'm getting ready for combat. I give it 2 days before we're dragged into conflict. They don't use words to resolve things in Alarinthia. It's always a duel or a tournament, that's all they do. When we're there, we might as well speak their language. He smirks, as if promise of action is exciting to him. He did hate Alarinthia, but he loved combat, as his nature. Hopefully he'd get to tackle a challenge worthy of his skill when we were there. Gotta make the most of a bad situation, right? I'll get to give my sword arm a real challenge. What about you, Razzle? Excited for this? Let's of course, can't wait to secure that alliance. That's the spirit. I'm gonna make history. Really hope we can help Vivian and change the nation. As you know, that's been my dream for the longest time. It's nice to know that our movement actually has some traction. If only my parents were so lucky, I bet they'd be proud, Razzle. The foe may seem impossible to beat, but I have a feeling we can do it. That is, if we even get the opportunity to side with Vivian. If we get stuck with Dracul, I have to admit, I'll be disappointed. We'll get our alliance, but at the end of the day, Alarinthia will just be the same. But I'm guessing you didn't come down here for a lecture. Have a seat. There's something I can talk to you about. I nod and sit down beside him. Hey, continue sharpening his sword and I watch. Must have gotten worn out during the battle back at HQ. I don't want to scare you, and I'm not hiding anything. Before you go to my homeland, you might hear things. Can you promise me something, Monarch, no matter what happens? Remember me for the things I've done for you and the rebellion. No matter what you hear about me or my past, please don't judge me. I wouldn't judge you based on your past, so I expect the same from you. I mean, unless you murdered somebody or, would massacre entire villages of people, I think we could be pretty cool. I nod. I can afford him that courtesy, as long as he's not hiding anything heinous. But he doesn't seem like the type. He's truly devoted his life to the same cause as me. Good. That's pretty much everything I had to say. I was really worried. I was trying to handle that topic, so rather than overthinking it, I just shot straight. Thank you. It was especially hard since you're such a powerful figure. I hate to get on your bad side, so we need to be fully open. I have a few secrets, as we all do, but nothing really bad. If you're gonna find out in Alarinthia, I'll probably tell you myself. In fact, maybe it would mean more if it came directly from me. Sorry, this must sound stupid. I'm not really good at this kind of stuff. Talking about myself is hard. Definitely helps to get drunk. But ale was something that they didn't think to pack for the voyage. Maybe I'll pull some strings so the ride back can be more lively. Oh, really? He gives me another one of those trademark smirks. I get the feeling that he really does use alcohol as a social crutch. He's much more open and lively while under the influence. Is that bad? We here at Nicolini and Friends do not condone the use of alcohol to make yourself more open because you become dependent on alcohol in order to become more open. So, and then people are going to say, but Razzle, your manager has had problems with alcohol. Yes. And I smacked him over the head with my notebook a few times over that. Trust me. I guess it's not my place to say, as long as it doesn't get in the way of his duty. Something told me that our visit to Ollar would put him in the spotlight more than ever. I get up from the bed and turn around to face him. He continues working his sword. Sorry, I didn't have much to say. I guess I'm a little shy. It'll make sense in time, I can promise you that. When that time comes, you need to keep your promise. He's really pushing this promise thing. Should I be concerned? I'd hate for him to use it as leverage if some horrible secret came to light. Thankfully, I see Ulrich as a good person. He wouldn't hide anything bad from us. Like you said, it'll all make sense in time. All I can really do is go about my business and wait. Suddenly, I'm more excited about our journey to Ollar. Both Alestia and my comrades were slowly opening up to me. In the last few days, everything had changed. What else would change? That thought fills me both with determination and fright at the same time. I had to. I'm sorry. If you don't get it, it's an Undertale reference. Access. That's a heart-to-heart 3. Yes. Okay, now they're playing the last time we heard this song, somebody got shanked gangster style, so... I stepped towards Valessa, who has her hands on the ship's railing. She seems lost in thought, but who wouldn't be after recent events? Careful not to startle her, I simply stand beside her and rest my hands too. You know, for once I thought things were going well. We had an army and it seemed like our objective was clear, but they outsmarted us, caught us off guard. We were careless. They always say to be cautious if things are going too well, especially in war. We got blinded by the victory we thought we secured. Nobody thought to question our course of action or Domic's orders. And to top it all off, you don't need to scribe anymore. Fortune gets to lead our nation, I'm left with nothing? That's hardly fair. I have no idea what to do with myself. Well, I mean... yeah, what are we gonna do with you? You'd be Fortune's second in command. I just wish things could be clear like they used to be. Though things were difficult, our future was certain. We don't even know if we can secure this alliance. My future is clear as long as you're by my side. Don't worry, Valessa, we'll make things work out. I want to believe you, but I'm just not sure. You thought things would work out back at Rebel HQ. Look how that turned out. Seer, Monarch, what if they call you this day and age? You're reckless. I don't want to sound mean, but I don't share those thoughts. And it's important to take a step back and look at the big picture. That way you don't get blinded, and act based on your ego. She lets out a loud sigh as we stare off in the horizon. The slow rocking of the ship pushes us closer together. With the distance closed, I can hear her more clearly. There's definitely more on her mind, I can tell. But I can't force her to open up, so I stand there in silence. My ears are open to her, as long as she decides to speak. I was so lost in thought I couldn't sleep last night. I decided to help Alex prepare the ship for our voyage. We got to talking, and he told me something shocking. I'm not even sure if I should tell you this, Razzle. But it's something you deserve to know. Remember how those people recognized us? She must be talking about Grizz and Grayson. They both recognized us when we first met. They recognized us too, immediately. I assumed it's because they knew our parents, but then they told me how they knew them. She closes her eyes and looks up to the sky. Who this could be? Our parents were pirates, Razzle. Feared, hated, legendary pirates. Sure explains their trips to Mazeo. At first I didn't believe it. I was lost in denial. But they kept telling me more and more. I had to accept it. I just pictured our parents as these perfect, untarnished people. They're killers. They broke the law. They pillaged. They're the reason the Triumvirate launched the occupation. I know what you're going to say. They wanted to idle. Piracy was a cover. And while you may be right, the excuse was still valid. At the end of the day, piracy was running rampant through Mazeo. Our parents played a part in giving them this perfect excuse, don't you see? And in doing so, they were partly responsible for all those deaths. We always thought they were innocent victims, but were they really? Honestly, I doubt I'll be doing much sleep tonight either, Razzle. She sets out on the other side, even more exasperated than the last one. Let's sum it up, shall we? No. There's no more spirit realm. Our belief system was shattered. Almost the entire rebellion was killed in action. You're tricked. To top it all off, I'm $1 of some ruthless pirate killers? How am I supposed to process all of this? How will you? Your parents, my parents, Fortune's parents, all 6 of them. They weren't the people we thought they were. What do we do? Brag about it, of course. Actually, all we can do is just be better people than they were. She nods without offering a reply of her own, but I know she understands. This doesn't change much. The goals, the journey ahead of us would remain the same. I just feel so lost, Dazzle. Honestly, part of me feels the same way. In that moment, there's nothing left to say. We stare off into the ocean together. This was a turning point in all our lives. How we handle things would define who we become. Our conversation ends with that thought, bringing both hope and despair. Alright then. Well, time to see what this dude's up to. Yes. I see Pro sitting on one of the beds, striking a match. He uses it to light some nearby candles, creating a laid-back atmosphere. The candle slowly fills the crew quarters with a sweet aroma, very relaxing. Hey there, Dazzle. Perfect timing, actually. I wanted to talk to you. I thought we could get to know each other a little better. Unfortunately, our time was cut short back at Rebel HQ, but this was a long voyage, with no need to cut any corners. So, want to have a seat? We can get this started. The candles are supposed to be relaxing, something about aromatherapy. I never really looked into it, but I'm scared of water, so I needed help. I sit down beside Pearl on the bed, already one fact richer. So scared of water? Must not be having much fun. It makes me wonder what else he didn't know about him. He's a mystery man. You should tell me about yourself, Dazzle. And this is because I'm genuinely interested, I swear. Whatever you tell me, I'll never write down in any books. That's what friends do, right? Confide in each other? I always talk about writing books and conducting interviews, but the truth is, this time, I just want to keep things between the two of us. I nod and tell him a random fact about myself. Nothing harmful, just small. I really like green apples. He smiles and we start to exchange facts about each other. He seems really happy. The pressure of not writing this down and treat it like a subject must be relieving. Everyone always treats me with such apprehension, you know? Like, anything they tell me I'll turn around and use against them. That is a part of my business, but it's not like I want to do things that way. I hope people don't treat me that way after the war is over. I'm quitting the swindler's life as soon as I get the chance. I'll still write, but I won't use information as a weapon ever. Instead, I'll use it to help those in need. You know, I've done it before and it feels good. Information can either be a sharp knife or a warm embrace. Weird metaphor, I know, but like I said, I'm no fiction writer. I prefer the focus on the stuff that's real, like people and their actions. They ripple outwards, affecting people in ways they'd never know. Of course, that's something that applies to normal people. There's nothing normal about you, Dazzle. No offense, of course. You're going to be in charge of the entire world after this war is over. Talk about putting the pressure on. Bro senses this and changes the subject. Can I tell you a little secret? Maybe it'll make you see things differently, you know, so you won't picture me as a bad person. I can tell that a lot of people do, even if they don't say it. But all I'm doing is helping Damek win this war in the best way I can. It's not my fault that I'm like this. All I can do is play with the hand that I've been dealt. Oh. He smiles, but suddenly a wave of fear overtakes my entire body. I shut my eyes tightly as that last phrase echoes through my mind. Where did I hear that before? Oh, right. During my visions. When I first touched the lid of Exodus back in Valnorth, the series of visions ended with me getting stabbed by a man. That man, unfortunately, I'm not able to identify as Pro. He lets out a soft laugh and rests his hands behind his head, leaning back. My heart beats incredibly fast as this revelation slowly processes itself in his head. The final vision the Monarchy had given me was Pro betraying all of us? What was going on? Why would he do that? Okay, I'm gonna blank that out so people aren't distracted by what he's talking about. My thing is, I think those visions that we were given were, I don't know, I feel like they were kind of almost, because the Triumvirate was able to corrupt visions, right? They corrupted the opening vision that the Monarchy tried to give us. And then they planned on me getting the blade, touching it, and seeing visions. So I'm thinking that they fudged with those too. Because remember, things didn't play out exactly like they did. You know, we saw these visions of, oh, Dominic talking about how, oh, this will all change when we show the people the spirit idol. And then, you know, Fortune being like, oh no, this was a trap. I'm not giving up. And then, you know, even a Howl throwing loyalty to us. In the vision, he said, we will aid you in this fight, but you're no longer a rebellion, so they become something more. Whereas, you know, in that, how it happened was differently. So I'm thinking maybe, you know, Pro stabbing us was a corrupted vision as well. Maybe the Triumvirate was just trying to throw us off and not think that Shane was going to betray us. Maybe. Well, I mean, yeah. Betrayed Dominic and the rebellion and us by extension, but excuse me, I think you know what I mean. Anyways, there was this little boy who got abandoned by his parents. He didn't know why, and that hurt him so much. Maybe they just didn't want him. But why? What did he ever do to them? It made no sense. And he hated that. He had to grow up on the streets living on the scraps other people threw away. It wasn't just his parents, you know. It almost seemed like nobody wanted him at all. That just made things worse. Can you imagine feeling unwanted by the world? As he starts telling me the story, the anxiety slowly dissipates. Pro was a swindler, right? Maybe he was pretending to kill me. I don't think Pro could hurt me. There must be a deeper meaning here. He started to pick up on people's secrets, you know, just little things. After a while, he found out that people would pay anything to learn these secrets. As a teenager, he used this ability to live a luxurious life of gluttony and sloth. He knew secrets that could topple cities or destroy people's relationships. But none of that gave him satisfaction because there was one thing he never knew. Why his parents abandoned him? Why they didn't want him? Did he deserve it? It was too humiliating to admit. So he made up another story. His parents died during the occupation. That was much less embarrassing. Everybody believed him and helped him fit in with a new group of people. This new group of people, the rebellion, wanted to use his skills for good. They accepted him with open arms to do something nobody had ever done before. He knew he found his place in the world, and since then he served this new family. He keeps prodding the locals for information, picking up all sorts of secrets. He wants to know why people do the things they do and what motivates them. He does this so nobody has to suffer like he did. Simply not knowing the reason. I notice he starts to get sad and tears are forming in his eyes. He's talking about himself. He is the boy in the story. I can tell. Perhaps telling me as if it were a story made it easier for him. So, everyone thinks this guy is bad, a blackmailer and a swindler. They might be right. But that's just how he grew up. He had no control. He had nobody to show him how to act. Nobody to care. Or love him. Until the rebellion took him in, of course. I'm sure he already guessed that boy is me. All my actions, however bad, have a reason. I want to keep going until I learn about my parents. Where are they now? Why did they throw me away? They weren't proud of me. Would they be proud now? I hope you can understand, I really do. I'd do anything to learn where they are right now. I'd follow any order. I just want to see them face to face and finally learn the reason why. That's why I threw myself into this world of secrets and trickery. I thought if I kept going, maybe one day I'd learn the truth. I guess we'll find out before this war's over, right, Razzle? I nod and give him a soft smile. It meant a lot that he opened up to me. It must suck to not know the truth of something like that. I can't even imagine. But it explains why he's so obsessed with learning about actions and motivations. We talked for a bit longer about nothing important before parting ways. Perhaps he wanted to ease the tension in the room after dropping those facts. After we're done, he seems happy and we seem closer. There's no loss here today. Well, I think that's about it. Let's move this voyage on. Yeah, there's really nothing to click on either, so... We charge your quarters until you arrive at Ollar and Thea. Note that you will not be able to access this content again. Yes, we hit everything. I make my way down to the crew area of the ship. My bed isn't too hard to find, and at least I have privacy. I find myself reminded where Chris told me about the blade. It bends to the will of the wielder, that much was true. I've been able to use it to accomplish so much already. But what are the true limits of its power? Do I want to know? I rest the blade on my bed and sit beside it, cross-legged. Closing my eyes, I start to focus and clear my mind. This probably is a good time to test my limits. Blade of Exodus. Show me our victory. Nothing happens at all. Did the blade have nothing to show me? Or maybe was I scared of seeing the future? It could be worse. Was there no victory in sight? I pulled back and opened my eyes. It didn't work. I scoffed and rested the blade up at my bedside, concerned. I drifted to sleep, with an anxiety that wasn't there before. Oh no, Magical Mary visits from the Triumvirate this time. When I wake up, I see the sun pierce through the windows. With everything I was told, that means we're on Alarinthia. I grab the blade and immediately get out of bed. Running around the ship, I see nobody in sight. Did they leave without me? That's odd. Tossers. Or maybe they let me sleep in. After everything that happened, I guess I'm thankful. I searched for a map of Alarinthia and inspected it closely. If they left, then I should be able to meet them at the docks. So can I go under and explore my crew quarters? No. Well, let's go. When I exit the ship, I notice everybody standing around outside. Ulrich stands strong, tall. All my other comrades look defeated. Fanning themselves, it's clear this heat is the source of this exhaustion. Oh, jeez, this is almost unbearable. Ulrich, how do people even live in this heat? It's only been minutes and I already feel like death. You get used to it, trust me. Besides, a lot of the natives are draconic. The bodies don't handle the mainland too well. Oh, I think I read about that. Hopefully they can adapt as fast as we can. We'll be marching into Balteas together after all. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just make sure to have a drink on you at all times. In these deserts, dehydration is your greatest enemy. Right. They part ways and go about their business. Ulrich goes towards Pro and they start talking in private. Alessia ends up with Fortem, so I need to find my own company. Dominic and Howl stand together, so I simply walk towards them. Hopefully, some of the tension had settled after the long voyage. It'd be detrimental to have two senior staff constantly at arms. I see her. Monarch, what if they're calling you this day and age? Your Highness. Just about to ask Howl about Alarinthia. Sure, it looks much different than it did back then. Legends dictate it was also lush and full of green. Legends that lie. Wait, really? That can't be true. The destruction of the idol turned it into this desert. That spiritual energy that... Oh, wait. Precisely. Alarinthia has always looked this way. The legend you speak of is a poorly conjured tale. We often create stories to understand what we cannot grasp. So, does that mean Valarinthia? Valanoth will be found without the idol? Correct. In our prison we had no power. There was no logic behind these assumptions of yours. At least, no logic that you know, now that you know the truth of our kind. Well, isn't that wonderful news? At least, it narrows our focus a little more. I could tell that was a source of stress, Razzle. Oh, how? I could hug you so hard right now. Please refrain. There's a meme for you guys. Just whenever anybody's doing anything stupid in like the context of Winds of Change, like someone comes up with like a stupid theory or talks about how they want to do something like whatever, just be like, please refrain. I'm gonna draw a bunch of Rule 34 of Winds of Change. Please refrain. We're just gonna have that image. There you go. We'll turn Howl into an exploitable meme. He crosses his arms and looks around at the docks. I can tell he's wondering why we're still standing around. After all, we were on a tight schedule with the ball and all. Normally, there'd be a lengthy immigration process, but due to the ball, the nation is open to everyone. It's a long trek, but we can head straight into the city. Well, what do we do once we get there? Look for Vivian, I presume. If we can't find her in time, then we'll head to the ball. But meeting her before then would be a huge advantage. We agree with this course of action, Russell. However, our knowledge of Alarinthia is not very deep. We suggest working closely with Ulrich in this endeavor. I nod, agreeing with what they both have to say. As if that was to dismiss me, they both turn away. It was nice to see that they're getting along at least. Ulrich and Pro seem to be done with their conversation as well. Making my way over to Ulrich, I noticed something odd. Out of the corner of my eye, someone is staring at me. I make eye contact with them and they quickly run away. That was concerning. Being by Ulrich is probably a good idea right now. As I approach him, he smiles at me. Odd, I thought he'd be miserable. Hey there, Razzle, welcome to my homeland. Forecast calls for excruciating heat, chance of death. Just a chance though. Let's hope it stays that way, right? I know it. I guess he's using some humor to cope. Let me guess, you have a lot of questions. I'll try my best to answer, but make it quick. We're on a strict schedule here. We can't fail. We must towards the vast desert before us. Honestly, it seems to go on forever. It's crazy. Ball starts in around 8 hours. Dinner time. If we don't move fast, we won't be able to make it. You know what's at stake, Razzle. Let's get going. I nod. I guess he does have the authority here. After all, none of us know anything about this place. If we're following his lead, I better do what he says. Of course, I do have a few questions about this place. If it's up to ask him before we leave, I better do it fast. Missing that ball could be catastrophic to our cause. Alright, so I am gonna go ahead and call it a day here. We'll have to continue our vast, wonderful adventures through Alarinthia tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, but next time. I don't know why I said tomorrow, but look at that city! No, that's just immigration. Oh. So we can just waltz right into the castle? Yeah. Is that a little dangerous? For us and the outsiders, yeah. Remember where you are, Valessa. Trick you could kill anybody in the blink of an eye. Letting people in from the mainland is no threat at all. Any threat to Alarinthia the soil comes from Alarinthia itself. Of course, that brings its own host of problems. Fortunately. Yeah, unfortunately. Well, we'll just have to see what happens next time. See what happens when, hopefully we'll see what happens when, the gauntlet is thrown. Man, Alarinthia politics sure seem exciting. So, if you like that, remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Become a fellow Dazzler today. Make sure you ring the little bell and become a ringling Dazzler so you can keep track of whenever I upload videos, because it tends to just be whenever, really. And what else do I have to throw at you? Ah, yes, if you want to financially support the channel, because we don't have ads because we're small, there's always the Patreon. If you want to make a one-time donation, there's always the Ko-fi as well. And then also, you've probably you're hearing this by now, but we also have an eBay store that I'll be throwing together soon, and I'll start linking that in the description below. I'll give an announcement for that, and then just have it silently in there, because I can't think of anything else to add to this list of things to hit you over the guys over the head with as my closing spiel. So, that being said, my name is WrestleJoestar, and I'll see you guys the next time, and make sure you bring lots of water. For God's sakes, please don't drag along your industrial strength hairdryer. I think you can live without it. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention something to you guys. I'll see you later.